Week's podcast
with Christina
and Lance, where we discuss various topics that impact parents and children with the purpose of inspiring authenticity, openness, and connection.
We want our audience to stay curious and courageous, but most importantly, safe.
This is an I'm Motherfucking Awesome Yo production.
This is episode 4. Yep. 4 of my Mom and Me podcast. This episode we're going to be talking about favoritism and our thoughts on that. Before we get into that, I am Lance.
I am Christina.
And I'm wrapped in a peach blanket.
Don't say that, man. Your sister will get mad because it's hers. She gave it to me.
Odin.
Y'all, we just can't win with these cats. They like messing with stuff.
Well, first of all, I'm cold. She's not here. Doesn't really matter. Oh, God.
Yeah, why are we talking about favoritism?
Personally, because I think it's a joke between the four us in this house.
Oh, 3 of you in the house.
The peoples of this house.
What about the one that's not here?
She technically counts as a people, as a person.
Well, then there's 4 of us. There's not 3 of us.
I'm like 3, 4.
You have
5.
3 siblings. How do you not know this? You know, I just had this conversation with Kyra. Like, I was telling her numbers of people in the house, and she's like, no, it's this. And I'm like, are you not counting yourself? She's like, I am. And I'm like, you have fingers, do math. Goodness gracious.
It passed on me.
I guess.
It transfers from sibling to sibling.
So why do you say that there's a joke about favoritism?
I mean, it never really bothered me in the first place. I'm like, yeah, favorite. Sure. I also thought it was funny because, you know, concerning Kyra, like, oh, I'm the favorite. I'm like, okay.
Do you think Kyra's the favorite?
No.
No? You don't?
No. You treat us about equal. It's just that you guys fucking talk more.
Okay.
So I'm just like...
Well, Kayla thinks that Kyra's the favorite.
Yeah, I don't know what you want me to do about that.
I'm not saying you have to do anything at all. So it's interesting to me that you don't think that Kyra's the favorite. So let's say Kyra is the favorite.
Okay.
Like, what's the problem with that?
I don't really see a problem. Because knowing you're not gonna let shit slide even if she is your favorite. So...
Okay.
Like, that's the favoritism I have a fucking problem with.
Okay. Well, so I get picked on a lot
Uh-huh.
by your sister, and I get picked on by other parents when I say, yeah, I have a favorite. And they get really upset with me. And they think that I'm, like, totally abusing my children because I'm playing favorites. So I did some research.
Mm-hmm.
And
Odin, stop.
what people think is favoritism is very
arbitrary?
No, not arbitrary. Like,
weird.
It's like I was reading this book by Dan Crenshaw that's called Fortitude, and it's all about resilience during this outrage culture that we have. And I feel like when people get all upset with me about my favoritism, like, it's a part of that. Like, they're making a big deal about something like I'm psychologically abusing my children. So I looked up this, and I love Psychology Today. And they talk about this, one of those undercover shows where they pretend to do favoritism, right? And there were, like, so many people that were outraged. And they called it abuse. They wanted people to call, like, child services.
No! Wait, what kind of favoritism were they showing?
So, let me see.
Like, it was one where, like, oh, they're my little angel. They can't do anything wrong. How dare you accuse them of that? And then just, like, proceed to be a complete and utter dickhead. That's the favorite.
So the mother was giving a lot of praise and attention to one child.
Okay.
And ignored or criticized the other child.
Okay. So the my little angel can't do anything wrong kind of favoritism.
Well, the kids weren't being it's not saying that both kids were being horrific or anything. It just said that the mother was praising and giving a lot of attention to one child and ignoring or criticizing the other. So that's what the thing was. It is with children.
Okay.
And so they actually, Psychology Today actually talked about that there's a line that can't be crossed with favoritism. Like, you can have favoritism, and they actually say it's normal. It's normal to favor. And I actually, before I even read any of this stuff, like, I deduced that there is some normalcy to favoritism.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, you have favorites all the time and different other things. Why would it be different for children or people?
Well, not only that, I think my favoritism comes from the commonalities that me and Kyra has. And for a while, I had Charlie as a favorite because Charlie was so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and wanted to spend time with me. And you and Kayla are a little bit more angsty and like to be alone.
Angsty?
Yes, angsty. But I want to get back to my initial point. Angsty. My initial point that it's normal, but you don't want it to, become abusive. So parents who have a favorite children are defensive regarding their treatment of their favored, or overlooked or unfavored child. Now, I don't know why I can't read that correctly, but basically what it's saying is that you get defensive over being accused of having favoritism. Do I ever get defensive?
No.
Nope, that don't fit me. I'm like, you're absolutely right. I have 5 favorites. And it could change. It very well could change who my favorites are. Kyra's not going to let that happen because she likes being my favorite. She understands the perks of being the favorite.
Yeah, I know.
One child works hard to get parental affirmation and does not succeed. When y'all do amazing things, do I ignore it?
No.
Okay, so I don't fit that one. The other child, the favorite...
Do it. Answer it.
Hello, Kyra. Hey, do you want to be on the podcast?
Right now?
Yeah, we're talking about favoritism. Are you my favorite?
Yes.
Is that simple? Are you ever going to relinquish that throne?
Absolutely not.
How do you keep your throne of being the favorite?
Hey, who wants to go to the store with me? I'll be right there. Let me put some shoes on.
That's how you stay my favorite?
Not just that. Hey, can one of y'all help me with something? Yeah, give me 1 second. And because I'm me.
And because you're you?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm amazing.
You're...
I would be your favorite.
What do I call you?
Your mini-me.
Kyrie, you're not on. I don't know why you have the thing pointing at the ceiling.
So you can hear me better?
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, I have the bottom of my phone pointed at the mic.
Yeah, so I have my mouth towards the
So
mic.
what do you think about parents having favorites?
I think it should be okay. I mean, it's not like you love any of your other my siblings any less.
So you know that I don't love you more. You just know that I like you more.
Exactly. And there's a difference between loving and liking.
And what does it feel like when, like, I'm really upset with you and I no longer treat you like my favorite?
It sucks. It sucks real bad.
What do you do to fix it?
I usually try to, make sure I figure out what the hell I did wrong and then own up to it, because I know I probably did something wrong.
Do I treat you badly, or do I just not treat you special?
You just don't treat me special. You guys ignore me, and then when I'm like, Mommy, you're like, go away. And I'm like...
No, I tell you, I'm like, I'm mad at you. I don't like you right now.
Then I walk away. And I'm like, what did I do? Then I gotta figure out. If I don't know what I did, then I gotta figure out what I did.
When did you start becoming my favorite?
I was going to say I've always been your favorite, but that's a lie.
Yeah, you know that's a lie.
Probably back in, like, middle school.
Yeah, I want to say it was toward the middle to end of middle school.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, so people think that, especially your sisters, they think that you've always been my favorite, and that is so not true.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kaja was your favorite at one point.
Kaja was my favorite for a while.
When?
Yeah.
When you were little.
Yeah, remember when
Of course, when I can't fucking remember.
I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that Kayla and Kyra were so close that they ignored me. They wanted nothing to do with me.
Oh.
And so
Exactly.
it was like I had you were my baby, and
I
so
was
we
the
got
attention
close.
whore at the time.
You weren't an attention whore. You were just super snuggly, and you were, you gave a crap about me. I existed to you, unlike your sisters. So,
Damn, made me
but
feel
then,
bad.
but I think Kyra and Kayla came to this point where they kind of went separate directions, and I think that's when it kind of happened.
Mm.
And in middle school, you start to get your personality too,
Yeah.
and Kyra started acting more like me. All right, I'll let you go so me and Lance can get back to this podcast.
All right, I love you.
I love you
Kisses
too.
and hugs. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled discussion.
Program.
So let's see here. The other child, the favorite child, doing nothing in particular, receives abundant affirmation and privileges that appear undeserved. Do I do that? No. So here, one of the funny things that I'd like Kyra mentioned was the store. Kyra learned early on that if she went to the store with me, that probably 90% of the time she would get something. So she took those chances and she would go and she would never ask.
But you'd be like towards the end, it's like, hey, do you want candy?
Yeah, you want something? Or I'll see her. She'll be like, hey, can we go look at toys or something? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, let's go look at toys. And I'll see that she has something that she likes or something.
Yeah.
And if it's not expensive or whatever, I'll get it for her. Or if we're grocery shopping, hey, you want to get you want some cookies or something? And I think she just learned that early on that, if she went with me, not every time, but a good chunk of times, she would get something.
Smart kid.
Well, and then you guys would get upset, and I'd be like, well, she went with me to the store. Like, if you would have went with me to the store, you probably would have got something too. And you guys still didn't want to get up and go to the store.
Because we're fucking tired in the morning.
Well, like I said, like, you made that choice. Like, you knew. You knew, and you made that choice.
I was like, it's worth it.
One child grows up feeling powerful, believing they can do or accomplish anything, while the other child grows up feeling defeated with low expectations of getting what they want. Now, I will say that Kayla feels that way. I can tell by how she talks. But do you feel that way?
I guess it depends on the situation.
Do you feel like, in general, that you can't accomplish anything?
No.
Or that you're going to be not getting what you want in life, in general? Yeah, I don't think Charlie feels that way either. A parental excessively praises one child while ignoring, criticizing, or saying little positive about other children. Do I do that?
No.
I don't think so either. And then they talk about when it goes on to abuse. Talk about distorted, inflated views of themselves, which all of my kids have distorted, inflated views of themselves on one end or the other. I think it's just a part of my DNA that I pass down to people.
I physically resemble a tired college student, and I'm only 18.
Well, not only that, so I'm an extremist. There's no middle ground for me. It's either black or white. It's left or right. It's good or bad. And I think that you guys have taken on some of that either by being around me or my DNA. One of the big jokes with Kayla is, because Kayla's super smart.
Mm-hmm.
We all know. I think Kayla's a genius if we got her tested. And I tell Kayla all the time, and I'm like, you're either going to be a Fortune 500 CEO or you're going to be a hobo. There's no middle ground for you. She can't be, a mid-range manager or, anything like that. She either needs to be a solo worker bee, which I don't see Kayla doing that. Or she needs to be the one in charge or be a hobo. Because I really think that my kids have that extremist view, and Kyra has it with her ego. She has a very inflated and deflated ego. It's one or the other. There's no middle ground.
It fluctuates.
Either she's a dumpster fire, or she calls herself trash, or she's like the most amazing thing in the world.
A dumpster fire on wheels.
Yeah, or she's the most amazing thing in the world.
God.
And I think you're very much like that too. I'll notice you'll have one week where you're like super energized and peppy and ready to go, and then the next week you're like a damn sloth.
It's like, I did too much that week.
Yeah.
Sleep.
So that has nothing to do with my favoritism. I don't indulge my children. It talks about indulging one child over the other. I think I indulge all of you, to be honest. Huh?
Equally, you indulge us.
So I am a responsible spoiler.
There we go.
I think I'm a responsible spoiler.
Responsible spoiler. Now, would you be a responsible sugar mommy?
What's a sugar mommy?
Do you know what a sugar daddy is?
Yeah. I'm
That.
not taking care of no man. No.
Would you I'm just saying, if this is an if situation, if you were, would you responsibly spoil that person?
I wouldn't do that. I have 4 children that I need to spoil.
There we go. Okay.
I mean, I don't foresee myself not being in y'all's lives. I mean, we've talked about this for a couple of years now. At one point in time, you guys all wanted to live in different places. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll just come live with each one of you like 3 months out of the year. And you guys were like, that's cool.
It's like, I.
But now they all want to live in the same city as me, same apartment complex as me. So I must be doing something right. I mean my children don't hate me.
I mean, you cool.
I'm cool.
You cool. You nice.
I'm a mom that's cool. I'm not a cool mom. Just let's be clear about that.
Yes, I know.
Do you want to tell them what the difference is?
She does the cool shit. She won't let you do it.
I can do the stupid cool shit. They can't do it.
Not until we're out of the house.
Yeah, until you guys are old enough to make your own mistakes. So I'm not that mom that brings out the vodka and weed and be like, let's get lit tonight.
What was that fucking Mean Girls?
Yeah, that's where I get it from, because a friend of mine, I had said something to him because my daughter, one of my daughters was staying with him for a couple months because I left Florida and she couldn't leave yet. And she before I had left, they had went to the outlets together because they both like to shop. Mm-hmm. And Kyra had on like this see-through black sheer shirt and a black bra. And she had on like little shorts and like these fishnet stockings with her knee-high boots. And I'm like, you doing what?
Sounds like a cute outfit, but...
Well, so here's my issue. You know, he's in his, late 30s. And he's
19.
going... Yeah, and she looks like that. And I'm like... Yeah. I was like, so I texted him just to be funny. And I'm like, how you let my daughter leave the house looking like this? And he's like, oh, I thought you were a cool mom. I said, no, I'm a mom that's cool. There's a difference. And I give you guys a lot of leeway. I let you make a lot of decisions. Charlie just asked me yesterday if she could have the knee-high Converse, and I'm like, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah, hell no.
And she got a little sad at first, but then she realized, like, how often do I say no?
Yeah.
Not very often. Because I like you guys to make your own decisions and learn from the consequences of those decisions, depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is.
And I think I've been pretty straight across the board with, like, rules and stuff. So why did you want to talk about favoritism, then?
Oh boy, so you ever just you don't go on Reddit.
Oh, is it because somebody else was complaining about favoritism? Oh, I want to hear about this.
So, there's this subreddit called Am I the Asshole? Right?
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of the other subreddit, but it's like, oh yeah, like entitled parent, entitled child, and like stuff like that, and then you like...
I wish I was an entitled parent.
No, do not be that.
Oh. Okay, I don't wish I was an entitled parent. Apparently, I don't know what it is.
Those are the fucking Karens and Deborahs.
Oh, no, I'm not a Karen. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't blame teachers. I don't blame, I don't do the blame game of my children are, perfect and you're going to treat my child special.
Yeah, don't be like that. So, from what I've seen in Am I the Asshole subreddit, are these cases of familial, say you're dating someone and you...
Me dating somebody? That, never happens.
Okay, not you specifically. And, fuck, how do I explain
So, as a
this?
mom, with my children, I'm dating somebody.
No. Fuck. Okay. Not you. Okay, so I'm gonna use the story of someone, names are gonna be omitted. So, this woman...
Adele
Sure. Adele.
and Tupac.
Why?
I don't know. Just coming up with names.
Dave.
JT. Justin Timberlake.
Just tie-dyed. She's pregnant, right?
Is this a mom or a
Hold-
child?
This is an adult, okay? All the people in this story are adults, but there is obvious favoritism towards the mother. Now, here's the thing that's a little fucked up. I'm going to get there real quick. So, OP is pregnant with a child, and her fiance, they've been trying to have a kid, right? Their mom doesn't fucking like the kid. So, here's where it gets a little fucked up. I'm pretty sure if you guys look on Reddit, you know what I'm talking about. So, you know how you get vitamins when you're pregnant or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. OP's fiance's mom switched out the vitamins with something else, and it could have killed the baby. She did
How
this
does
knowingly.
this have anything to do with favoritism?
Hold on. And so, OP went to the doctor, you know how that goes. It's like, oh yeah, good thing we caught her early on. And then, I think if I remember this correctly, OP told her fiance, and he's like, my mom couldn't have done that. And I'm like, and so, oh god, it's just...
So you're saying he's picking his mom over his fiance that's pregnant?
Who is pregnant, and I'm like, there's literally only two options. Either your fiance who is pregnant tried to kill the baby herself, or your mom did, because your mom has expressed inherent and apparent dislike towards the baby.
Your father's mom was like that.
Yeah.
Your father and his mom were like that. He favored his mom and
over you and the house.
Absolutely. Me and you guys.
That kind of favoritism. And I'm like, do you not understand how damaging that can be towards your relationship and the health of...
Yeah, that happens. I thought we were talking about favoritism like me, and that's why I wore my mom sergeant jacket, because Kyra got this for me.
And then there's favoritism among your children and the siblings, right?
Do you have favorites when it comes to your parents?
Now if it's biological parents, you, Error 404, you done fucked up. But that's because I've lived with you most of my fucking life. I like you better. You are my favorite parent.
I have taken care of you. I have sacrificed
a lot for me. You are my favorite, biologically speaking. Now, marriage-wise, because you and Dad, you are about the same, but I like you a little more.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you liked Lou more. I thought you liked your dad more.
No.
I would be fine with that. I feel like you guys connect better.
I mean, we probably do connect better, but
and I also think that for you, you're very open to having a father, having a dad in your life. Your sister's not so much, and I think he really, your older two sisters, and I think he really capitalizes on that.
Oh.
I do, because I mean, I've told you before that I realized probably within the first 2 years of our marriage that he didn't marry me for me.
Mm.
He married me so he could be a father to the three of you, because he loved y'all. He fell in love with y'all as children, not in a weird creepy way, not
in the weird creepy way.
No, he if we didn't have Charlie, he would have been fine just being y'all's father.
Oh.
And So it's taken me it is taking me a while. I've never been that horrible like baby mama stuff, but it is taking me a while to kind of let down my wall again and allow him back into my life with y'all included. Because I think me and his relationship impacts y'all's relationship, especially your older two sisters. Because especially Kyra. I mean, especially Kyra, because Kyra is so protective of me. And if I hate somebody, she hates them. So if I want her to have a relationship with him, I have to learn to have a relationship with him on some level. Mm-hmm. And I'm really proud of him. And not to say that I don't have issues with him, but he loves you guys. And I see that and I recognize it. And I see what he does in those magical moments that, you know, he shows how much he loves you guys. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about my feelings if you tell me he's your favorite. Now, if you tell me Error 404 is your favorite, then we going to have problems.
There's a problem.
I'm going to tell you there's the door.
Error 404 is not my favorite at all.
I don't think so. I'm just like,
I'm
like, that would be a shitty thing for one of my kids to say to me.
It's like, oh yeah, I prefer Error 404 over you, despite him never being in our lives.
He's just not. No. No, I'm gonna try to refrain from talking badly about him. But yeah, so do any of your friends complain about people or their siblings being favorites or anything?
No, but I can tell.
Oh, I've seen some instances with some of Kyra's friends that they've been borderline abused by favoritism in their life.
I mean, one of my friends talks about it, you know, but I'm just like...
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, you're a young adult, you can get a job, and I'm like, I help her through it?
Right.
So, like, she has support... Shit. Yeah, she has support, and I'm like, yo, man, if you got problems, talk to me. Just not all the fucking time, because...
Yeah, it gets draining. Yeah, it definitely gets draining. I had two friends that I can recall right now in high school that struggled with favoritism. One was really bad, and I was not happy about it, and I tried to be a really, really good friend to her because I felt like she just didn't feel like she deserved to be loved. And I think that's what happens with favoritism when it goes beyond that point. You feel like you don't deserve love. And I go back to that movie that I love watching, Perks of Being a Wallflower, and they talk about you accept the love you think you deserve.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I can tell my brother's a favorite. I used to be a favorite with my dad, but my brother had his daughter when I was hitting that ugly stage of like middle school and stuff. Mm-hmm. So it distanced me from my dad. And then I think what happened is because my niece was born that he just kind of filled that gap with her. And I'm not mad at anybody about it. It's just that's what happened. So my mom never stopped having my brother as a favorite. And then, you know, I just got worse and worse and worse in their eyes, you know, because I do what the fuck I want to do. And my brother is very compliant. So that goes towards what I talked to you guys about. That's how favoritism happens. If you don't have things in common with your children, if one's more compliant than the other, it tends to, you know, drive that wedge between the parent and the child, or make the other parent and child closer. But it has continued on. Like, and it has caused me some issues because on top of the favoritism, I was also neglected. And just so everybody knows, like, I have forgiven my parents. I love my parents. I'm not saying that we're super close or anything, but this is not to bash my parents at all. This is to say that I know it's impacted me, and I would never want that to impact you guys. So, like, I try not to neglect you, and I try to just do the fun favoritism. Mm-hmm. And because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to not have my accomplishments acknowledged. It's happened a lot. I'm never good enough, or, when are you going to do something else? And they don't even acknowledge the fact that I got a bachelor's degree, a master's degree.
And you're working on your PhD.
Working on my PhD. There even comes a point where when I was pregnant with my children, one of my parents was like, you shouldn't be having kids this early. You should get an abortion. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, like, I didn't even have that. Like, oh, I'm so excited, another grandbaby. And that's another reason why I'm so grateful for your dad, because we were never close with my parents. And part of it could be my fault. I'm not going to say that it wasn't. But you guys got really close with Lou's parents, and, they've been really good to you guys. So, like I said, I hope anybody that knows my parents, or if my parents are listening, this is not meant to bash you. This is meant to just say, hey, this was my life. And I think my parents did the best job that they could do with what they knew how to do. And I've made mistakes as a parent. And I feel bad for them. So, I got really serious there.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's fine.
My bad.
It's okay.
But it definitely, it sucks. It definitely impacted my worth, my value. It impacted how I valued myself, and it impacted the price that I put on myself for somebody else, so my worth.
Mm.
So it didn't take a whole lot for somebody to get me with their love if it was like minute.
Yeah.
And that's not what
Okay.
I want for my children. Well, that's not what I want for y'all. I've given up. I've given up on love. My 4 daughters are the loves of my life. I can't. I feel like I would be selfish to complain that I don't have a man, because I have so much love for my children. I do. I'm absolutely spoiled. They drive me freaking insane, and they can be selfish sometimes. But nobody, I don't, that's a lot of love to compete with. It is. How do you feel my parenting has impacted you and the way you feel about yourself?
I'm good.
Yeah?
It's just like, I either have average or like a low average self-esteem, like, and I'm like working it up, because like I was never really that self-confident in the first place. So, like, your parenting didn't negatively impact me. And I'm just like...
Do you think that's just kind of how you are as a person?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can build up my self-esteem, my self-confidence, but...
Well, let me ask you this, since you're the one that's on this podcast. They talk about this favoritism impacts people and their relationships in the future. So, you haven't really been in a serious relationship, and you're 18 years old, almost 19. Do you think it's because of my parenting? Did I make you feel like you didn't deserve to have a relationship? No? Do you feel like you don't need one? Is that why?
I mean, well, first of all, for relationships, I have this thing of, if you need it, then that's probably not a good sign.
Okay, I agree with that. I like that thinking.
Because it's like... Okay, so there's this little concept of mine. There's this little concept that people have. It's called... I think it has to do with solving your problems before getting in relationships, not using relationships to solve your problems.
Okay.
So, I have problems that I want to work out before I get into, like, serious romantic relationships, if I ever want to do that. I don't want to be needing someone on, like, such a serious level. Like, I can need someone, like, on other levels. It's just, like, relationships should be, like, about wanting the person, not needing them.
Did you come up with that on your own?
It's something I've noticed in books. It's like, oh,
okay.
this and this. Like, I need you, and I'm like.
I know. I read those cheesy freaking romantic novels, and it's like, I can't live without you. I need you. I will die without you.
I'm like, then how'd you live up until this point?
So I feel like the people with the old people love, the people that have been together so long, I think you grow into something like that. But I don't think it should be like that right away.
It should never be like that right away, because that's.
So do you feel fulfilled in your life without a relationship?
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're missing out on anything?
No.
You don't feel like you're behind? God, I did a good job.
Look, society puts a lot of...
No, because I'm going to tell you why I think I did a good job. Because if you didn't feel loved, you would be looking for love somewhere else.
Yeah, so...
Y'all, I did a good job. I still do a good job. I love my kids. People pick on me all the time because they still, like, live with me off and on, and... You know, I just, they think I'm like preventing them from going out on their own.
He's like, no, we just do it when we want to.
What do I tell you guys? I don't want to prevent you from ever trying something, so I want you to know that I'm your safety net. I want you to take risks.
Yeah, it's just that I'm not a really big risk taker.
Well, I mean, you just graduated.
Yeah, like, I just graduated, but... Even before I graduated, like, I wasn't really that big of a risk taker. Like, if I calculated it, like, subconsciously calculated it, it was like, yeah, I can do this. Because, like,
Eventually you're going to have to start taking risks.
I know. It's going to
No, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like skydiving.
Oh, no.
I went skydiving. Rocky Mountain climbing.
What?
2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. I love deeper.
What?
You don't listen to country music.
No, I don't. I really don't like country.
I know you don't like country music. So when you have kids, are you going to play favorites?
When?
Yeah, when you have kids.
When?
Yeah.
What?
When?
When?
You've mentioned wanting to have kids.
I mean, I said if I adopt.
But you've mentioned wanting kids. Do you think you'll play favorites?
I'm thinking it would be like your kind of favorites.
Where it's earned?
Yeah.
You guys do know that I love you all the same, right?
Yeah, it was like...
Okay.
Like... Earned my favoritism. That's how this is gonna work. You don't just get it right off the bat.
So I want any parent that's listening to this that has a favorite. It's normal.
It is completely normal.
It is completely normal as long as you still recognize your other children's accomplishments. You're still there for your children when they need you. You know, it's like you have to have this baseline parenting, right? They all get this baseline parenting, right? And then when they're being really awesome, you're like, yeah, you can get a little bit more. And if they're being really shitty, you're like, you're going to get a little bit less. You know, but there's this baseline, and you only go above and beyond it like one tick each. And you just kind of go that way depending on what they earn. And I think that's healthy. Yeah. Because if you don't...
Because that in itself actually teaches your kids, like...
Life.
Yeah, like, people are going to like you more if you do better things, but they're not going to like you more if you're being complete and utter shithead.
Think about, like, even in a husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband, whatever floats your boat. Think about, like, a marriage, right? Do you think marriages that are great are because one person's being shitty and the other person's just still treating them like they're a king or queen?
No. If that's the relationship,
that is a terrible relationship.
You shouldn't be in it.
Yes.
That is toxic.
I did not become a parent to be abused by my children or taken advantage of. So, and when I feel taken advantage of, I think I tell you guys. And I remember one time, like, you guys were just being horrible, and then you guys would want rides places, and I'm like, no. Nope.
Like, absolutely not.
You guys have been fighting over the dishes, whose dishes are what, for, like, the last 2 weeks. I'm not giving anybody a ride. You can go fuck off.
It's especially irritating when I know I did the fucking dishes and there's...
I don't even want to... we're not even going there. Because that was one of my... So I used to rotate dish night with them.
I'm like, I did the dishes.
And I would go in there and the sink would always be full of dishes. And they'd be like, well, this dish is yours to do and this one was yours to do. And you didn't do this one. Like, all the time. And it was so freaking annoying. So annoying. So, like, having a lot of children is full of love. It's a house full of love, but it's also a house full of annoyances. And
it can be hectic.
Anything else you want to talk about on favoritism?
Acknowledge your kids. Acknowledge their accomplishments.
What if you're a kid and you feel like your parents are playing favorites?
I mean...
Get over yourself? I don't know, that's what I would say.
No.
What advice would you give to kids? Like, you're kind of the young adult advisor.
I'm the young adult advisor. So, like, I've never had to do this, but if you feel like your parents are playing favorites, talk to them. If they're going to be a complete and utter asshole about it...
Then your parents are just assholes.
There's your answer.
But do you
But...
think they could get some perspective on it, though? Like we've done?
Yeah, like, look up some articles. Like, is this normal? Is this amount of favoritism towards sibling numero uno normal?
Am I a part of the outrage culture getting upset over my sister getting a donut and I didn't?
You're never gonna let that go, are you?
Oh my god, that is like the worst.
It's like, I wanted a donut too. Why didn't you
Sometimes
come?
I'll buy food just for myself.
Yeah.
And my kids will be like, they'll sit here and get all upset with me. And I'm like, you know what?
Go away.
Fuck you. Like, sometimes I want to treat myself. And I can't really, usually I'll go to restaurants. But it's a lot harder to go to restaurants now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So y'all just have to sit here and suck it up. But
I mean,
back
I also
to the
have
kids.
money. So, like, do some research, talk to bring it up to your parents, see if you can talk to them about it. Like, get their perspective on it, let them know how you feel, get their feelings in on it, too. So, good communication is a key to flourishing and outstanding relationships. Honestly.
What? With your parents?
Yes. With any relationships, really.
Oh, do we have a flourishing relationship?
We have an outstanding relationship.
Yes.
Like, I don't verbally communicate a lot.
No, you don't.
But I do it physically.
Yeah, if you say so.
Okay, you can tell if I'm like in a fucking stink.
Yeah,
I show it, I don't say it.
you're a fucking cat.
I am a cat. I'm the cat of the family.
She always wants me to pet her when I'm eating.
It's like, give me attention.
Lays on me every time. Alright, are we good?
Yeah. So, this was episode 4.
I don't think we have to count the episodes every time.
Nope, this is gonna be a tradition now.
Oh, cheese and rice.
This has been episode 4.
You're listening to My Mom and Me podcast with Christina and Lance.
Yeah.
You can go on to www.immfingawesomeyo.com. There is a tab on there for the My Mom and Me podcast. If you want to say hi, if you'd like us to talk about a certain topic,
Ask for advice. Fill out the little form at the bottom of the page.
There's a form. And you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Buzzsprout. Yeah. So, I'm Christina with I'm Motherfucking Awesome Yo.
And I'm Lance with this wonderful podcast.
Peace out. Homie.
Bye.